Now next is Alone in the Dark, Jack is Back. This is a weird one, for me at least. I kind of don't know what to make of it. Most horror games sort of have this dark kind of overtone to them. Let's get some pictures of the back. This one hasn't got those dark threads going through it, not from what I've seen of the first hour or so, but it's interesting enough for me to want to play through it, so I will be giving it a go. Isn't particularly rare. You can come across copies all the time, so between £5 and £10. Obviously, you know, Alone in the Dark's a really good series, and so you probably want that in your collection. As I say, I will be checking that out at a later date. Myst, one of the most popular games ever. Obviously it's a puzzler. I played the first hour of it. It's got some devilish puzzles in there, so I think it might take me a while to complete it. The Saturn version is really good. I really enjoyed the first hour I played of it. When I get round to playing it through, like I said, I think it might take me a while to get through it. Now, I did discover a cheat for this, which when you enter it gives you this video interview with the makers, which is really interesting. Obviously it's a really good game on the Saturn, so obviously it's not very rare, about £5 to £10, that's how much it's worth, so pick that up if you come across it. Now, Tomb Raider, I played this game back in the day on the PlayStation, and I thought it was bloody fantastic. For those of you who don't already know, Tomb Raider was released on the Sega Saturn first, and then got ported over to the PlayStation. Now, a lot of people might think that it was on the PlayStation first, and I'd forgive, people can be forgiven for thinking that. Sega at the time didn't really realise the gift that they had been given in Tomb Raider on their console, and obviously when it got ported over to Sony's PlayStation, Sony realised the game that it was and how good it was, and they really hyped the game up and advertised for it, and really did the game justice, and that's why it's probably mostly remembered as being on the PlayStation. But no, it was on the Sega Saturn first. As I say, Sega missed a great opportunity here to really, get some interest in the Saturn basically. But the PlayStation version is the better version, better graphics, tighter controls, tighter gameplay. But the Saturn version is worth playing. But I played a couple of hours of this game actually, and it is pretty good. It ain't as good as the PlayStation version. The graphics are blockier, the controls are a bit more messy, but you can get used to the controls. One gripe I would have is because the graphics are a bit more blockier, sometimes it can be hard to spot those secret ledges, and obviously Tomb Raider there's a lot of secret ledges, so it can be a bit awkward. The game isn't very rare. It is worth playing though, I would say, but just don't expect it to be as good as the PlayStation version, and it isn't very rare. You can come across it quite often. It's about £5 to £10. So that's Tomb Raider. And another game by Warp, Enemy Zero. Now this is a fantastic game. I haven't completed it, I played a few hours of it. I should be playing this all the way through after I played Resident Evil, after I finished playing that. As I say, it's by Warp. It's got the same lead protagonist in the game as D, which is this woman here, Laura. She also stars in D2. It's a really interesting game. It's set in space. It's like a horror adventure puzzler. It's really atmospheric, just like D. The atmosphere's there. Again, like D, it's probably graphically one of the best on the Sega Saturn for CGI graphics and stuff. I don't think it can be beaten on that respect. It's got a really interesting combat system. Obviously when enemies appear, when enemies are closer to you, you get this beeping noise, and the closer they are to you, the higher higher pitched the beeps are, and the more frequent they are. The further away the enemies are, the slower the beeps and the quieter they are. But you know, the combat system, it ain't that great. You get this weapon and it's really awkward, and so, you know, interesting system, but probably needed a bit more work on the execution of it. Obviously it comes on, show you the back there, it comes on 4 discs, but interestingly enough, oh, caught that in time. Interestingly enough, the disc 1 is labelled 0, and obviously disc 2, 3, 4 is labelled 1, 2, 3, and the disc 0 has some cutscenes on it and a tutorial which lets you get used to the combat system, which you really want to play through first before you start the game. As I say, this game is really worth playing, really atmospheric, great game. You have to have this game for your Saturn. I wouldn't say it's too rare, it's on the same level as Dean, kind of rareness terms, and I paid about £25 I think it was for it, worth every single penny. And obviously you can see the box is quite good nick, this version, so I'm really happy with the purchase. Fantastic game, really looking forward to playing this after Resident Evil, and that is Enemy Zero. So that's me done, guys. That's my little horror action adventure collection, and hopefully when I clear a corner out of my room and move all my computers and games and CDs and stuff, I shall be doing some reviews and showing off more of my collection and games. So check this space, guys, and thanks for watching.